if I signal to my partner that I am starting to like fight back, I'm going to trigger a more athletic response. And you might just pick me up and suplex me for that as punishment. Can you do that? Oh, shit. What I would like to work on though is sneaking our way into something like that without triggering our partner to increase the defense. This is the whole problem. It's gonna kind of look like getting some elbows into some holes in here. So I see a hole kind of in here, so I might put an elbow in there. And I see a hole right over here, I could put an elbow in there. And then I could kind of just like spin around maybe. I'm gonna have you all try to wiggle. I think of this as playing Operation, the board game. I'm gonna ask my partner to take a very fragile grip over here. And then I'm going to try to maneuver my body inside of this. And if Angela's grip breaks, then I lose. Because this is like my metric, my litmus test for whether or not I've applied too much force. So if I do something that opens that grip, I hit the buzzer in Operation. So the game right now will be starting in some sort of bear hug, trying to worm my way in here and get a position without disturbing my partner's grip and get into something where I have mostly facing my partner, ideally with frames on the inside, ideally also with a head underneath my partner's head. If you'd like to play this game, and no pressure to play, but if you'd like to play this game, raise your hand and find a partner who also has their hands raised. This is version 2 of that game. So now instead of doing Operation, we start in a side bear hug, and my partner will just squeeze tighter anytime she thinks that I am resisting. And she's going to incrementally get tighter depending on how much she thinks I'm resisting. So my goal here is to move through, wiggle myself into a more dominant position, really without ever triggering that response, the boa constrictor response. Once I'm here, like if we were wrestling, I feel really good about being able to do a turn throw or something. If I fail, I can always fight force with force and eventually break it once I've turned it. Any questions? The metric here is up to your partner, it's up to Angela, to decide whether or not she thinks I'm resisting too much, and then to appropriately, in her mind, squeeze. Not everyone will give you the same response. If you're working with someone who is very compliant, you'll get away with a lot. Some people, you push a little bit and suddenly you get like crushed. And I'm like, I didn't fucking deserve that. It's not about me doing like the perfect movement. It's about me appropriately evaluating the emotional state of my partner, and that is what I want to focus on. The self-defense application here is really looking at like dance floor stuff, right? Any other ideas about where it might come up? Specifically just this bear hug? Maybe I'll ask the audience at home. Self-defense aside, this is also really applicable to the sports people, especially the ones who are going into competition soon. So the idea here is that in sport, we're usually trained to meet force with force, especially in the tournament, and just give it 110% and just defeat our partner, hopefully with a little bit of technique, but mostly just like with energy. But we can also do sneaky stuff where I know that my partner is trying to also conserve her energy because we've got a 5-minute jiu-jitsu round and we both have like 3 more matches this afternoon. So I'm gonna play against that. If I failed to be calm and get into a nice sport position on my partner, and I've somehow in here triggered a real response and Angela's gonna squeeze, she's trying to communicate to me, she's trying to bluff to me that she has endless energy reserves and that she could do this for another 4.5 minutes of the match. If she's doing a good job of that, I'm going to be very convinced that I will never get out of this bear hug. I could keep meeting force with force. I could press into this and be like, I'm going to break this, or I could relax. And if I relax, maybe she relaxes, and then I get to break it. Sneaky. One more time for the audience at home. If we meet consistent force with force, so I keep pressing, and then my partner presses back in, we're both trying to psych each other out. We're both trying to communicate to each other that neither one of us is going to give first, and we have endless reserves. But I know I can only do this for another 30 seconds before I gas out. So I'm going to relax a little bit, and I hope that she relaxes too. And if she does relax, now I can jump on that moment. I could either break the grip suddenly by breaking tempo, or I can go back into a delicate response. I just like to go over the throw series from this bear hug so that you can see how dominant the position is once you have it. So it may not be that convincing to be like, okay, fine, I wormed my way in here now. Why does this mean that I have a better position than Angela? So we'll just go through all of the judo throws we can think of from here. And if you want, you could call it out. Does anybody here see any judo throws from my side that I could do from here? A hip toss. So I could just come in here. I already have the underhook here, and I can lift my partner. Are you ready to fall? So it's the worst agoshi ever, but you can look up real agoshis on YouTube, right? Something in here. Angela, why don't you just do whatever you feel like? The fuck? That kabuchi? That was so easy. In the end, after I've got my underhooks, do you have anything on me? Is really the good point, or is really the important point, right? Can you throw me from here? It's hard. I have so much control. So even if I am not trying to throw my partner, and even if she's not really trying to throw me, the cool part is that I have established so much stability here that I could just hang out here and talk my partner down from whatever shit we've gotten ourselves into. And I can stall here, and I'm not in danger of getting picked up or getting thrown or something, because now I have underhooks. I have a good side position. I'm not vulnerable anymore. Even if this is at the club, in the dance floor or whatever, I don't like how much control Angela has over my center of mass right now. So I don't get to pick where we're moving. I am at the mercy of my partner. Shit. Right, so I'm trying to avoid escalating the match, or in self-defense, I'm trying to avoid escalating my partner emotionally, right? So if you take that body lock, I'm going to try and get to that final position without doing anything that Ange could clock as aggressive or as me starting to gain position. So the easiest thing to do would just be to fight real hard, but that's going to induce, so hold on to shit. If I fight real hard, that induces her to squeeze harder. And good chance I will not win that fight.